It was way back in 2014 that many people, including filmmakers, actors, politicians, and some left minded intelligentsia, started finding India intolerant. They felt that India is not safe for their children and community. Their fear was justified in a way, as Dadi lynching just happened. But them calling the whole nation as intolerant was not at all justified, I believe. Soon, many questions were raised by the so called liberal media that India might become a Hindu dominating nation with RSS now at the helm of affairs. What also followed was Muzaffarnagar and Malda riots, which were disregarded by the pseudo liberals. Their only respite came as a taunt to Mr. Modi over Gujarat riots, in which many people from the minority community also got killed. At that time, Modi had asked for police force from other Congress states, but they paid no heed. Cut back to 2014-15 in Muzaffarnagar and Malda, in which several Hindus were killed, but only few had the courage to expose the poor law and order problem of Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal governments respectively. This again exposed the pseudo-liberal media who only spoke about Godhra riots and not of Muzaffarnagar and Malda riots. Was this not selective coverage of the events which they resorted to? Coming again to the events which took place at JNU in 2016 where anti-India slogans were raised. What sort of Azadi were the Tukde gang asking for? The trio actually raised anti-India slogans, and if not sedition, then what should they have been charged for? This event was masterminded in Pakistan, whose actuality was fulfilled by the GNU trio. One of them went to such an extent of calling Indian army in Kashmir as rapist. Years passed by. After this, when one day army literally got frustrated of the stone pelters incident and they tied a stone pelter to their jeep and roamed him around the city. Now this was seen as human rights violation. Amnesty International poked its nose, calling Indian army as human rights violator. Meanwhile, the issue of Rohingyas sprang up. Again, so-called human rights activists pleaded that Rohingyas be allowed to live inside the country. But this did not shake our government's resolve to counter illegal immigrants. Rohingyas were never a problem. Neither the government had any moral duty to give them shelter. Because soon after the Myanmar government itself had given proof that they, Rohingyas, killed many Hindus and Buddhists inside their territory. But they came and settled in illegal colonies and were given fake IDs and ration cards as they were seen as a perfect vote bank by some opportunistic politicians. Soon the politics of Hindu bashing and minority appeasement started. Meanwhile, the valley was again in unrest after Burhan Wani was killed. This time it was school-going girls who pelted stones at our jawans. Later, at the prime time debates of newsrooms, famous celebrities were seen taking sides of stone pelters, supporting the demand of their so-called Azadi. And then, the final blow came in the form of surgical strikes inside Pakistani territory in which many of their hideouts were targeted, killing many of the terrorists. Soon the opposition started questioning the validity of surgical strikes, or whether it actually really happened or not. How illogical of them. And recently, we see Congress president appointing the man behind surgical strikes as his party's advisor for some internal security committee. What sort of double standards were these? It was not only the opposition this time, but soon the leftists were heard singing same tunes as of theirs. Earlier last year, 4 urban Naxals were arrested and sent to judicial custody. Their crime, that they had Naxal material hidden at their backyard and the 4 were actually hatching a plan to kill Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Then again Hulabalu was created over their arrest by the left and the opposition, further exposing their double standards. When these 4 were arrested again by the present dispensation, then they become human rights activists for the left and the Congress in particular. Over here I shall remind everyone that it was Congress Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh who once said that Naxalism is the biggest internal security threat that the nation is facing. Recently, again, Pulwama faced a terror attack in which 45 of our CRPF soldiers were martyred. Shame on Bollywood stars who did not even utter a word of mourning. They did not even condemn Pakistan. Because they, by agreeing to do a movie with XYZ of Pakistan, might give them some money and pleasure. But it deeply hurts the martyrs' family. It so hurts them when you find a nation intolerant, when your obnoxious movies do not see the light of the day. But I don't know how you tolerant towards the cries of martyrs' widows and children. This incident has truly exposed their real side. So I ask the general public that if a nation can tolerate the intolerance of these pseudo-liberals, that Students who raise anti-India slogans, politicians who take sides of our enemy nation, Bollywood and other big celebrities who do not even condemn any sort of terror attack, opposition which finds an internal conspiracy in every heinous attack, then how can India in itself become intolerant? Instead, I believe India has become more tolerant by tolerating the intolerance of these pseudo liberals.